Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Just going to get going. Okay.
Is that? Is the mic on or off? It is one of the marquee fixtures, not just in Victorian women's football, but Victorian football altogether. Two of the proudest programs in this great state doing battle once again. They've competed in cup finals, they've competed in do-or-die clashes, and today they prepare to resume hostilities once more on what is a gorgeous afternoon by the roadworks on the Eastern Freeway. It is FC Bulleen Lions against South Melbourne in the Senol NPL Women's Victoria competition. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for your company this afternoon on the NPL Victoria YouTube page. No matter where you happen to be tuning in from, be it here in Melbourne, somewhere in Victoria, somewhere in Australia, or indeed anywhere around the world for this contest. Bulleen entering today, well, they have been rather imperious in recent weeks, riding a 6-game winning run. They lost in round 1 and round 2, decided they didn't like doing that very much and haven't done so since. They've been scoring for fun during this stretch, 4.5 goals per game, a run which saw them enter this round's top of the table since sliding back down with Boroondara's win last night. But coach Caitlin Friend's side eager to return to the summit with a win over one of their fiercer rivals today. South Melbourne, it's been a season of ups and downs, but fortunately for coach Justin Micallef's side, it's been more ups in the past fortnight, riding back-to-back wins over Alamein and Boroondara. Hellas entered into the weekend in the 6th and final playoff position, and they will be looking to, well, take the scalp of a highly fancy Bulleen side and surge up the table just that little bit more this afternoon. It really is, though, one of those games where you can somewhat throw the form guide out. They always give each other great fits. They always give each other a really good contest. This fixture last year producing 2 draws at least in league play. As I said, my name is Joey Lynch, and it's my great pleasure to be joined this afternoon on the call by Sven Semeld as we get underway. Sven, before I go through the 2-11s, what are you looking for today from both of these sides?
Without doubt, Joey, these are the 2 best teams, I believe, currently in NPLW, the Senol competition, and I think we're going to see some excellent football, and I can't wait to see how both Caitlin Friend, as coach of Bulleen, and coach Justin Micallef for South Melbourne set their teams up.
Well, both of these teams, as you might expect from units coming in on winning streaks, largely unchanged, just the one for both units. Alana Cordolino has come in for FC Bulleen Lions at the expense of Rosie Roger, who moves to the bench, while it's Francesca Yamano who has come into the starting 11 for South Melbourne in the place of Alexis Pantazopoulos. For Bulleen, aside from that, you've got Alyssa Dalost, Annabelle Yates, Kat Renahan, Claudia Miocic, Sarah Kane, Nia Sala, who retains her place in the 11 after a strong starting debut against Heidelberg last week, Olivia Bomford, Tiff Eliadis, Emily Bunnell, and the golden boot leader thus far this season. She has 13 on the campaign in just 8 games. It's Maya Markowski. For South Melbourne, Gio Candy starts between the sticks, and in front of them, Bella Wallhead, Eva Goodsmith, Grace Taranto, Raquel Doralis, Misha Westland, TJ Vlanich, one of several former Bulleen players for South Melbourne today. There's a few former South Melbourne players for the Lionesses as well. Michaela Schmelzer, Emily Roach, and Emily Collier. So, as you were pointing out, Sven, 2 sides certainly not lacking for bona fides or star power in the Victorian top tier.
No, without doubt, Joey, I think this will be a high-class game of football, and I can't wait for it to unfold.
As we see Roach getting an early touch with South Melbourne, unable to retain possession though. As Bomford now pulling the strings for Bulleen. Markowski has dropped deep to provide the support. Looking up. Looking for Eliadis. Important touch to take it away from her. Nonetheless, gets to Nia Sala. But it's Yamano, the South Melbourne skipper, coming across to win it for her side. Wearing their away kits of white and grey shorts, South Melbourne, kicking from left to right of your screen in this opening stanza. FC Bulleen Lions wearing their familiar maroon, kicking from right to left. So Markowski goes hunting. She can't get there. It does fall for Bomford, but Candy watches it flash wide of her post. And Sven, involved with Heidelberg, you had a front row seat for Bulleen last week. Why have they been in such good form in recent weeks? What are they doing so right on the park, and what does South need to look out for?
I think the calmness on the football, Joey. Caitlin's got them set up in a structure, predominantly 4-3-3. They've got such a good strike force up top, with not only players with great pace, but players who are prepared to take shots. And I know that sounds strange, but too many times I think watching NPLW football, players are reluctant to take shots. And when you got the likes of Tiff Eliadis, Maya Markowski, today Alana Cordolino and Nia Sala up top, with the likes of Kane in the midfield as well. All of them are prepared to take shots at range, and it puts a lot of pressure on the opposition, as it did last week when they humbled Heidelberg in such an excellent fashion.
Tiff Eliadis, she has 4 goals on the campaign. Sarah Kane with 3, the other multiple goal scorers for Bulleen. They've had 9 individual ones this season. They are the highest scoring side in the competition coming into today. 27 goals scored. It's a rate of just about 3.37 goals a game. Again, looking to move forward through Bomford. Aaron Kane playing those undersung roles in the midfield, but so important for ensuring that the Lionesses keep ticking along. Roach now, South Melbourne. She'll need to have a big game if Hellas are to spring some form of what would be considered an upset today. Going on the road and facing the table toppers. Cornelino ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Westland able to get the ball out. Now maybe something in transition for South Melbourne. Well, they'll have to settle for a free kick after the foul was made.
I think Justin Micallef set his team up nearly exactly the same as Katie Franz, both 4-3-3. I think what works really well for both these clubs is players with a lot of experience, not only at A-League, some with national experience, and I think it really plays out well.
As Dallos watches that cross sail past her goal and bounce out. And it'll be a goal kick for the hosts. Dallos, 5 clean sheets across her 8 starts for the Lionesses this campaign. Admittedly, hasn't had to do a lot of work in some of those clean sheets, but I don't think you'd find a single goalkeeper that could complain about that.
No, she's a wonderful goalkeeper, Joey, and I think early in the year playing A-League at Perth Glory, she displayed her wonderful skills.
Cornelino getting the ball from Yates. Central to Kane, turns, closed down quickly. South Melbourne applying a bit of forward pressure, asking a few questions with the press, asking Bulleen to play through them, which they're not going to be able to do on that occasion. Coughing the ball up instead. Westland laying it off for Yamano, onto that left peg. Yamano! Into the 11, onto the score sheet. And after just 6.5 minutes of this game, Hellas lead.
Joey, you just can see the confidence building in South Melbourne. South Melbourne came off a great win midweek, then to play Alamein and be fairly dominant to win 3-0. Coach Justin Micallef's very loud in the box with positivity. I think it's really permeating through his players. And as I said earlier in the call, players who take shots at range cause trouble. And Franny's left foot there was outstanding from the top of the box and fairly hard to defend against, to be fair.
Well, Francesca Yamano, she started the first 4 rounds of the season for South Melbourne. This is her first start since that period, and well, what a return to the 11 for the skipper, who today plays NPL Women's Game 189, the most all-time in the competition's history, overtaking Steph Galea in round 2 of the season. And that's her second goal of the campaign as well. Mentioning all those players that have logged stints at both South Melbourne and Bulleen. Yamano spent some time here at the Veneto Club, played 26 games with Bulleen, nowhere close to the now 84 that she's logged with South Melbourne. There's TJ Vlanich. Pretty much wins titles everywhere she goes. South Melbourne, Bulleen, Melbourne City, Calder, you name it.
Just great to see such calmness by all players on the ball. That's the difference between the top sides in the Senol NPLW and the teams further down the ladder. It's just they're happy to be on the ball and they look to play wherever they can.
As Roach finds Westland, who's going to look up. Oh, and in the end, they're lost. With the awkward bounce in front of her, had to get down low, and she's going to deflect it out for a corner. So set-piece opportunity forthcoming for South Melbourne. taken the lead after just 6.5 minutes through Francesca Yamano, and now an opportunity to get some tall timber forward and look to double their money.
Hopefully, for Bulleen during the week, some analysis has been done on Grace Taranto. Grace Taranto has been quite pivotal in scoring goals from these corner set pieces for South Melbourne so far this year.
I hope so. She's a defensively minded player wearing number 9. She's got to earn that somehow. And you can see she's gone right up next to keep Dallas company on the goal line as the ball is swung in. In the end, it was Schmelzer, the intended recipient, the American. Markowski, who had come back to defend the corner in a very unfamiliar position, and she's turned into trouble. Has to be careful not to give away form a penalty as she reached in. Instead, it's going to be another corner.
Nothing better than seeing hard-working attackers at the defensive end. It's a real credit to Markowski working hard to ensure there was a lot of pressure on the ball there.
So another corner as we tick past 10 minutes on the electronic scoreboard here at the Veneto Club, and it's absolutely flown by. Highly entertaining start to this game. Again, Taranto is keeping Dallas company on the goal line. The rest of South Melbourne's contingent towards the edge of the penalty area as that one's driven in towards the near post. Couldn't beat the first defender. Second phase will remain with South Melbourne, but it's going to get closed down. Kept in, the cut back. It's going to snake through everyone to Westland. She couldn't find a way through the massive bodies in the penalty area. And Bulleen will just secure themselves some breathing room. They'll have to catch their breath quickly as South Melbourne going to come forward once again. Schmelzer laying it off to Goodsmith. Taranto on the right. Salah closes her down.
Interesting to see then, Joey, all 11 Bulleen players defending that corner. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues to happen for the remainder of the game.
Taranto to take this throw in right by the corner flag on the attacking right flank of South Melbourne, and it's not the most well executed of moves there between herself and Raquel Dorales. Eliadis tries to put a boot through it. Communication between Yamano and Taranto sees FC Bulleen Lions get themselves another throw in. Moving forward in drips and drabs. They can have a third throw in. Should be at least able to get the ball into South Melbourne's half from this one if they go forward. And indeed they do as Kane spears it across to Cordellino. Closed down quickly by Collier. Collier does very well to prevent her from turning on the Jets.
Collier was very impressive last week versus Alamein and started the game nice and brightly, which is good to see.
Collier, one of a couple of Americans in the starting 11 for South Melbourne. Schmelzer the other. Nikki Furukawa, who's on the bench, Canadian. Westland to Roach. Lanic. Closed down in a hurry by Kat Renahan. Lanic, the Serbian international. Winning it back, and South Melbourne going to switch the play. Yamano's first time ball. Got away from Dorales. But Burns' pass got away from her. Seized upon by Roach. Kane recovers to make the tackle. Near Salah. Closed down by Taranto. Eliadis. Out to Cordolino. Tries to flick it beyond Collier, but that's going to enable Westland to nip in. Well worked by South Melbourne on that left flank. Eliadis poking it away. Bunnell. Across to Mijicic, looking up, left-footed ball forward. Markowski, the intended recipient, and behind play, I think, is that Collier, who has gone down to her haunches? No, is it Schmelzer?
Schmelzer.
Looks like she's going to be okay to continue, but we'll just come off. Maybe the wind knocked out of her?
Maybe you got trodden on accidentally there. Looks like she's pointing at her foot, Joey.
Yeah. Schmelzer, who started all 8 games since landing at South Melbourne from Manly United in New South Wales. Got her first league goal for Hellas in their win over Alamein.
She was one player during the pre-season, and a lot of clubs were looking at keen to land, and South Melbourne have done very well to get a player of her calibre.
Years old, plenty of experience, stints in Greece and Kazakhstan, as well as time at the University of Milwaukee. And, well, unfortunately, I thought it looked like she'd be right to continue, but it appears as though her race might have been run just 15 minutes into this contest. Confirmation coming in. Okay, like Schmelzer's day is done, to be replaced by Alana Byrne. So, very unfortunate. She was able to walk off under her own power, but obviously in quite a bit of pain if they've made the decision that quickly. Meanwhile, free kick for Bulleen. Swung in. It's going to skittle everyone. Eliadis threw a boot at it. Couldn't bring it in. Mijicic thinks she's won the corner, which she has.
I think if Tiff Eliadis had a time again, a change of body shape, she could have pushed that past Geo Candy for the first goal for Bulleen.
Now Bulleen crowding the 6-yard box. Eliadis rising to meet it with a head. Couldn't get over it. Mijicic, meanwhile, is taking a tumble. She her shoulder. No.
That time we saw Bulleen defending with, South Melbourne defending with all 11 players inside their box for that corner. So both teams have done a lot of analysis and worked out that that's where the scoring opportunities can come from.
Yeah, thankfully Mijicic, bit gingerly, but she's jogged back to her position. If there's one player that you fear for whenever they cup a knock, it's Claudia Mijicic. She's been haunted by injuries in recent years, and that's going to be a free kick.
No, one of the best defenders in the competition is Claudia, and we love seeing her out in that pitch. We don't want her in the medical rooms.
Niasella chesting it down before laying it off. Yamano came in to take it away from Yates. Still battling for it, Yamano. And then engaging in a verbal battle with the assistant, one that she's not going to win, appealing for the throw-in.
She may have had a point, but as we know, the referees and the assistant referees are always right.
And their word is final. As that ball sails over the top, looking for the run of Yates, gets away from her. Delos directing traffic from outside her penalty area as Taranto prepares to take this one. Forced to Mijicic. Emily Bunnell. Gets away from Cordolino. For grabs in the midfield, claimed by Westland. Eliadis got an important boot in. And then Yates clears it away. Cordelino can't keep it in.
I think she was coming back from an offside position there, Joey. I think maybe offside in the end.
I think you're right. Cordelino caught out by the clearance. I'll have to get back and defend as Goodsmith sends this one forward. Roach trying to find an angle, trying to find a teammate. South forced to recycle, but they'll keep possession. And again, attempt to come down this left flank. And this one's looking a lot more promising as the effort comes in and rattles the side netting.
Both Emily Roach for South Melbourne and Tiff Eliadis for Bulleen, every time there's a dead ball situation, push up high to try and stretch the opposition. Both of them nearly make a front four in those situations. And what's outstanding about both of them is splitting the fullbacks to put a lot of pressure on them.
The ball gets away from Bomford. Cleaned up by Cordelino. Looking for Eliadis getting forward. She left it. Markowski trying to come through. Now Markowski getting onto the ball. Out on the right flank. Bomford. Bustled off the ball by Eva Goodsmith. Fairly. Is the adjudgment by the referee. Kane. To Yates. Bomford playing it into space. Cordelino's got the speed. Keeps it in.
I think we'll see that a lot today, Joey. Bomford pulling the strings in the midfield and looking to play in behind the South Melbourne defence with the speed of Cordelino and Sala.
Lanich kept her head. Got it to Roach. TJ Vlanic allows Renahan to come to her before rounding her. Made that look a lot easier than it was. And a ball over the top, hoping to pick out Yamano. But Dallost aware of the danger and out to claim. Markowski dropping to receive again. Alana Byrne, though, keeping her company the entire way. Bit of man marking for Maya Markowski as she moves around the pitch.
With Maya Markowski's knee currently, and the soreness is obviously curtailing how much she can and can't do. A lot of time we're seeing her come off around that sort of 65 to 75 minute mark. So if Alana Byrne is man marking her, it will also test her resolve, because it mustn't be pleasant playing with a knee that she's got currently.
Remarkable to think that she is playing hobbled and still has 13 goals in 8 games.
Oh, she's been outstanding so far this season, and all the hard work she does off the pitch is being really well rewarded, and it's a credit to herself.
Hard work, especially difficult to undertake given that she was one of the players affected by Western United moving into hibernation. Underwent surgery on the expectation she would be rehabbing as part of Western United, only to have to make other plans.
Listen, it wasn't an ideal situation for anyone, and to have players taken out of the A-League ecosystem, particularly wonderful female footballers, it was bitterly disappointing for all, I would imagine. I know as a keen observer of the game, it's hard to fathom that could happen, particularly making those calls so late in the piece.
Markowski, one of a number of players affected by that. Coaches as well, of course. Justin Micallef worked with Western United's A-League Women's program.
No, that's exactly right.
Kat Smith.
Exactly right.
Thankfully, Markowski did get some support from the PFA for her rehab, so we're able to enjoy her playing in the NPLW, albeit we're going to watch her defend right now as she's back once again. 11 players back to defend this corner once more for the Lionesses. High ball in towards the top of the 6-yard box. Double-fisted punch from Alyssa Dalost. Wallhead. Westlands. Just had it get away from her, and Bulleen will have themselves a throw-in, but it's a throw-in in a not exactly advantageous position. South Melbourne, as you can see, erecting a cordon surrounding the ball. Sent in the Markowski direction. Salah flicks it on, but only as far as Wallhead. Alana Byrne. She knocks it forward. Yamano was able to bring it in, but then Yates came in to apply the pressure.
Both teams, when they're really attacking, Joey, are setting a really high defensive line. So it's really which team can spring the other team's nearly offside trap who will be the beneficiaries.
That's Doralis getting in behind Yates. Yates recovers well. And then just decides to flick it out and let her teammates get back and provide some support. Much better to concede a throw-in in those positions in a corner. Doralis laying it back off for Taranto. Closed down by Mia Salah, the two number 9s. That'll be a goal kick.
With both clubs being as strong as they are on the field and also off the field, to have a substitute of the versatility of Alana Byrne is fantastic for Justin Mikuloff, because you don't really lose too much with Michaela Schmelzer coming off.
As Eliadis goes to claim that one after Goodsmith had the control. Just get away from her a tad. Kane to Miocic, closed down in a hurry. Got it to Kane, who in turn finds Bomford. Yates has Salah ahead of her instead. Goes back to Miocic. Bomford and Eliadis pushing up, looking for the balls in behind. Goes to Eliadis. Brings it back. Almost lost it. Kept their footing. Cordolino cutting it back. Wanted Bomford. South had the numbers.
Outstanding play yet again by Bulleen in that transition going forward. As I mentioned earlier, Eliadis at every chance pushes up to make a front four and gets in between the centre backs, which makes it really hard for them to either zone off or not man up.
As Bomford prepares to deliver this one once again. A crowded box. Markowski, glancing touch. Fell to Kane at the back post. But Kane just drags it back and to the left of that inside of that near post.
I think Sarah Kane probably had more time than she realised. She could nearly have taken the touch and finished strongly there.
So now you can see Bulleen get into their defensive structure. Gio Candy takes one look at it and decides that they don't want to test it short. Instead, they will go long.
No, Bulleen were man marking all the midfielders there, which would have made it really hard for Gio to play short.
Eliadis looking for Cordolino. Can't pick her out. Roach to Westlands. Has Yamano, and that's where the ball goes. Franny Yamano, the scorer of the game's only goal thus far. Into the penalty area, dragging it back for Doralis, who got a glancing touch, but it wouldn't have counted because the flag has been raised.
I'm loving the battle between Sarah Kane and Emily Roach. I'd like to have a tracker on either one of them, because the amount of box-to-box running both players are doing is quite exceptional.
Ball forward for Bomford. That's going to be a free kick against Taranto. Eliadis. Schultz to Markowski. Carrier, it's a great ball for Cordelino. If she can get there, no. Looked good off the boot, but in the end, it just didn't slow down enough for the lightning quick winger to get on the end of it.
That was a wonderful ball by Markowski.
Bunnell tried to come and claim it, couldn't do so. Now she's going to have to retreat. Got away from Westlands, through to Yates. Eliadis kept her head as Vlanic's footsteps converged on her. Eva Goodsmith. Back to Bella Wallhead. Looking for Doralis. Miocic steps through. Yamano, can she keep it in? She cannot. Ooh, that's going to be a free kick, yes. Sala bundled over by Freddie Yamano as half an hour ticks by on the scoreboard here at David Barrow Stadium at the Veneto Club. If you are just joining us, firstly, thanks for your company. Secondly, the score is FC Bulleen Lions 0, South Melbourne 1. Francesca Yamano putting the visitors ahead, just 6.5 minutes in. However, Hellas have been dealt somewhat of a blow with Michaela Schmelzer soon after the goal being forced off with what appeared to be a right foot injury. Albeit, as you said, Sven, in Alana Byrne, they've brought on a pretty handy replacement.
They have indeed. In the first 30 minutes, I've been very impressed with Emily Bunnell and how she's been defending. And not only that, her distribution of balls has been a bit of a standout for me at this moment.
There's Yates. Sends it to Miocic. Bit of time for Bulleen as South Melbourne step off and get set up in a mid-block rather than get high. And then Yamano says, all right, enough of that, give me the ball. Takes it away. Time and space. Yamano keeps it along the turf, looking for the run of Roach. But once more, Dalos judging the ball as it came into the box and timing a move forward to claim. And now South Melbourne stepping up to apply the press, but Bulleen playing through it. It's a poor pass from Yates. Roach, look at the Westlands. Kane over the top. Is Salah onside? No, she is not.
Joey, I was a little bit shocked that Alexis Panazopoulos didn't start the game, but the way Franny Amano is playing and the goal she scored, I can understand why Justin Nicholas been rewarded by making a bold move, and it's paid off, so credit to him.
There's Markowski. Has been frustrated in this opening stanza. Comes into this game with goals in 6 straight. She scored multiple goals in 5 of those games. Battling with multitude of white shirts, Markowski. Does enough to, with some of the support of Nia Salo, win her side a throw-in. Eliadis. Bomford flicks it over one marker. And he just tries to poke it forward, but just ran out of time and space.
Bomford, playing against her former club from last year, will be obviously fairly keen to stamp her authority on the game.
Tasmanian, 19 starts in 20 appearances for South Melbourne last season. Miocic called for the ball. Kane let it go to her, and she responds by getting it to Yates just before Yamano came through. And Nia Sala stood up by Taranto, but able to carry it inside. Goodsmith poked it away. And Westland coming up with it for South Melbourne. TJ Vlanich wanted Goodsmith. Instead finds Kat Ranahan. 50-50 ball. Bunnell got there first. Highly contested game, both of these sides. Ducking and weaving and trying to find an opening to exploit. That's a poor pass. Kane spares her teammates' blushes, cleans up. Ranahan. Maybe a bit too much mustard on that one. Got it past Cordellino. Byrne wants the ball to roll out for a goal kick, and her wish shall be granted.
If Caitlin Friend's team, Bulleen, can try and play the ball, particularly on Cordellino's side, between the centre-back and the full-back, there is a mountain of space there, and I think it can be exploited by Cordellino's wonderful pace. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at half-time and what coaching moves are made.
As that ball's going to find its way through to Salah, but it's going to find Salah in an offside position. So looking around the grounds, we had one game completed last night. Spoiler warning. Bundara Eagles getting up 3-2 over Spring Hills. The other game that's gone full-time today, earlier. Heidelberg defeating Avondale 1-0. We'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, Sven. Elsewhere, though, in live action, Melbourne City lead the Bentley Greens 3-1 with just over 10 minutes remaining in that one. Kilo Park are up 2-0 over the Preston Lions with just over 15 minutes to go. Box Hill lead Alamein 1-0 with just around 15 minutes to go in that one. But big win for Heidelberg over Avondale then, Sven.
Listen, I think after being humbled last week by a rampaging Bulleen FC, I think today was an opportunity to take 3 points, and the players did it, and it's a real credit to all the players. They were missing their captain, Rosie Wild, courtesy of a red card last week. So the players that came in stepped up, and to be fair, their effort was outstanding, and very proud of all of them today.
Wallhead. So it's to Byrne. Not the best pass there. It's going to go beyond the reach of Collier and out for a FC Bulleen Lions throw in their attacking half.
I think all teams at the moment, Joey, are really working hard, scrambling to get as many points as they can prior to the window, because as we've seen the last 2 seasons, things change completely with the addition of A-League players, and teams can really change their fortunes, as Bulleen did last season. Box Hill. Box Hill did last season.
Incredible run. Once they got the likes of Policina and Sakalis into the mix.
They were magnificent last year, Box Hill, so it was a credit to them and their recruiting.
Box Hill on the live ladder, currently top without that A-League contingent, so...
Maybe it's Policina being the assistant coach, Joey. Maybe she's spreading gold dust wherever she goes.
Sure, Coach Cogulan has a bit to do with it as well.
Oh, I'm happy to say Policina, so when I see Kogel next, I could have a bit of a giggle.
Bulleen, free kick in a dangerous area, whipped in. Headed away at the near post. Roach flicks it over the head of Bomford. Just boots it into space, hoping that Yamano can make something happen. Not the worst play to hope that for. But Yates flicks it away. Ball up for grabs. Eliadis. Not her best execution. Ranahan knocks it forward. And moment to breathe as it goes out for a throw-in. Roach stood up by Bunnell. And Doralis will forlornly watch that one roll over the goal line.
Joey, with the Senol NPLW ladder currently, it was already fairly compact between 4th and 9th, and I think the results, how they're looking so far, it's not actually going to change too much. It's just a lot of teams sort of fighting for that, 3rd and 4th position, particularly that 4th one.
If this result holds, South Melbourne will sit in 4th come the end of the afternoon. Just a point back of Bulleen. Conversely, if Bulleen can find a way to come back and claim all 3 points, they will go top.
And it's probably the reward Katie Friend's team thoroughly deserves. They've been playing fantastic football when she's been at the helm as coach. It was only the games they dropped was when she wasn't in charge.
Eliadis does well to knock that one down to Bomford. Nice turn. Send it goalward, but Gio Candy watches it all the way into their gloves. Ball in behind, Yamano. Can't get there before Bunnell, who lays it off for Delost and then gets the return pass. Yates. Wesson was upon her, but she didn't panic. And then Bulleen getting the ball from left to right. Eliadis dropping to provide some level of support. That leaves Bomford as the most advanced midfielder. Gets away from Kane all the way through to Taranto. And just like that, Bulleen have to switch into defensive mode once more as Yamano trying to just burst past Yates, who was having absolutely none of it. Bomford's pass intended for Eliadis eventually finds its way into the 2-time gold medal winner, both with South Melbourne back in the day. Really keenly contested contest, this one, as we approach half-time at the Venito Club. Both sides refusing to give an inch. Francesca Yamano's 7th minute strike, the lone difference between the two.
It's an outstanding game between two teams that are passionate. They love playing against each other. I think they look at these fixtures and say, when are we playing either South Melbourne or Bulleen? And the way they're playing at the moment, it's really high-quality football. And I'd say both coaches will be fairly passionate at half-time, but pretty happy in a strange way. Not being 1-0 down, but just the way their players are playing.
Salah sending it central in the Elianis direction. Important intervention by Alana Byrne. TJ Vlanic laying it off for Collier. Left footed ball forward in the Roach direction. Bunnell claims it. Neat footwork before she sends it to Bomford. Sarah Kane turning, carrying it forward. Line-breaking pass for Cordolino. She's got Elianis, Markowski and Salah in the middle. Wanted Markowski, but not able to make the kind of contact that she wanted. But she will nonetheless be rewarded for making that run with a corner kick.
The attack for Bulleen again was set up by Bunnell, and Emily Bunnell, I think, is maybe a bit underrated in the competition. People talk about other players being imports, but I think Bunnell gets the job done, does it really well.
Kane sends this ball in, headed up straight out to, not Kane, sorry, it's headed out to Kane. Emily Bunnell. Landing from Swedish side, Malbacken's IF. A goal, making round 7 against Preston. Spent time with both University of Minnesota, her home state, the Golden Gophers, and also the Baylor Bears. As our 4th official, Lazarus Pantelidis, indicates that there'll be just the 60 seconds of added time at the end of this opening stanza before our referee, Tom Rushton, is within his rights to blow for the main break. Haven't heard much from our referees today, which is probably a good thing. They've let the game flow.
I think they've been fantastic, Joey. When you don't see them, if they're not impacting the game, I think you've got a great game and it's been well officiated.
Acrobatic intervention from Mijicic, who continued with the heroics to keep the ball from going out for a corner, and it looks like she's made herself pay for it, staying down heavily on the turf. Hopefully did not hit her head. She almost landed parallel with the turf as she came down, though, and it looks like maybe the wind's just knocked out of her, which would be fortunate. The trainer hasn't made their way over for Bulleen, so she won't have to go off. Yeah, indeed, it looks like maybe just, especially on the artificial, the wind's knocked out of her when she came down. That'll be a free kick for FC Bulleen Lions. It won't be, because that will be half-time here at David Barrow Stadium at the Veneto Club. And after a highly entertaining opening 45 minutes here by the Eastern Freeway, it is the visitors, South Melbourne, that will head to the Sheds with a 1-0 lead delivered by Francesca Yamano in just the 6.5 minute. A rocket of a left-footed effort. Both sides have had their chances. They've been going at it really hammer and tongs, Sven, and this game finally poised.
It's been a wonderful game, and Franny Amano's strike was a wonderful finish. And I know it sounds obvious to say that's the only thing that separates both teams, but I really believe that both teams have had chances to score, and South Melbourne's taken theirs via their captain. And I think both coaches will be very keen to have this brand of football continued. I'm hoping to think that, though, we can get a goal early, Joey, for the viewers at home, so we can have a wonderful second half.
Indeed. Moment of clash from Yamano, the difference between the two sides. South Melbourne are already in the Sheds. A couple of conferences breaking out between Bulleen coaches and their players out on the pitch before they've even headed in there. So plenty of feedback being given to the Lionesses. We'll have about 15 or so minutes until the resumption of hostilities here at David Barrow Stadium. We'll see you on the other side. of this marquee Senol NPL Women's Victoria fixture. FC Bulleen Lions against South Melbourne. And if you are just joining us here on the NPL Victoria YouTube page, it is South Melbourne that will begin the second 45 minutes with a 1-0 lead delivered in just the 7th minute by their captain, returning to the starting 11, Francesca Yamano. South Melbourne have, however, been forced to deal with the loss of Michaela Schmelzer to an apparent foot injury, replaced by Alana Byrne in the 11. And they've made a change at half-time as well. Raquel Doralis making way for the very impressive 17-year-old Alexis Pantazopoulos. Bulleen unchanged as they seek to, well, come from behind and avoid a defeat and then perhaps search for a 7th win on the bounce. As a long-range effort coming in, trying to make an early start on this. Pantazopoulos trying to enter the fray with a bang. Flashing the shot instead just wide. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Perhaps you are tuning in from one of the other games around the Senol NPL Women's Victoria competition that has just gone full-time. If you are, indeed, you are, well, we're hoping you're in for the treat because, as Sven Samold next to me observed, at the end of the first 45, it was a fantastic half of football that we just observed.
No, it's been tremendous, Joey, and I think the injection of Alexis Pantazopoulos into the South Melbourne attacking front third will give them a completely different look. She loves running at her opposition players, so the likes of Bunnell, Renahan are going to have to work really hard to reduce her impact on the game.
Ball was hurled down the touchline. Yates knocking it forward in the Markowski direction. Game of head tennis breaks out before it falls to Westland, who is bullied off the ball by Markowski. Getting the ball from Eliadis there, the big striker, poked away from her. So FC Bulleen Lions yet to make a change. They've got Liam Aldieri, Maddie Rakic, JJ Garron, Ash Jordan and Rosie Roger as their outfield options on the bench. That ball's going to fall for Cordellino. Couldn't make proper contact with the shot. Just ricocheted up off Bomford's boot. Fell sweetly for her, but just couldn't connect. We've got Emily Shields as the backup goalkeeper as well, Bulleen. South Melbourne, having already made a couple of changes. They've still got Sophie Papatsanis, Nikki Furukawa and Kiara Chronopoulos to call upon as outfielders. Fatima Yusufi is the backup goalkeeper. So, Sven, any potential game changes you hear there on either side? All of them,
yeah, without doubt. There's a lot of talent on both clubs. I really trust the players who are out there, and I think the coaches will too. They'll only make changes if they get fatigued. I'd imagine, sadly for FC Bulleen, Maya Markowski will have to come off with that knee at some stage, but I'd be really shocked to think that they may be making too many changes unless there's injury or fatigue.
As TJ Vlanich earns South Melbourne a corner. And as we have seen throughout this contest, it's going to be all hands on deck for Bulleen defending. Alana Cordellino, nominally the player furthest forward, but she's just on the edge of the D, inside the penalty area. So in swinging, right-footed delivery incoming. To the top of the 6-yard box, the players fly, not properly cleared until then. However, the numbers there for South Melbourne.
Lines go.
Eva Goodsmith.
Put the pressure on it, Lines.
To Roach. Got away from her. Renahan knocks it upfield, but again, Bulleen with the numbers back means they've got nobody to contest these clearances. So the ball will be slingshotted straight back in. South Melbourne throw in on that right-hand side.
South Melbourne started particularly well this second half, and a lot of energy, a lot of want to play the ball forward, which is not what any defender wants to see.
And, well, Rare one there. Francesca Yamano pinged for the foul throw. My under-12 coach would sub me off for that. I'm not sure if Justin Micallef is quite as harsh.
I think it's one thing players get away with a little bit more than normal, Joey. Recently, I must say, sitting on the esky watching games on the side at Heidelberg, I see a lot of throw-ins that are dubious.
South Melbourne trying to fashion something in the penalty area, but that's going to come out for a goal kick. I can tell you, Sven, under 12 Doncaster Rovers, John Gradwell would have been having none of that. Stop you right off.
It's an underutilised skill. I don't expect everyone to throw like Rory Dunlap, but no, it's something that coaches don't always get the most out of.
South Melbourne looking to continue this positive start to the second stanza and cap it with a goal, but Bunnell shepherding the ball over the line, and TJ Vlanic says, all right, you can earn it. TJ Vlanic signed with South Melbourne last season, following the conclusion of the A-League Women campaign. Such a fantastic pickup for Hellas.
Just a wonderful person, great player, and her dead ball delivery, I think, is as good as anyone's in the league.
And I'm pretty sure that if you certainly combined NPLW and A-League Women trophy cabinets, nobody's would be coming close to TJ Vlanic's. So if you feel as though winning's a skill, a good player to have in your team, if she's going to give chase to this one, lost though, making the claim. One of her busier days at the office, Melissa Dallas, since she's joined the Lionesses. Not too many shots forcing into a save, but plenty of forays forward and attacks which have kept her on her toes.
Interesting thing today, last week there was a lot of interchange play, underlapping with Emily Collier and TJ Vlanic, and today we really haven't seen any of that, and that gets back to the pressure of playing against such an excellent outfit as FC Bulleen.
There's another touch for Dallas. Pantazopoulos just making sure that she doesn't take too long. Mijicic bundled over. Pantazopoulos certainly making sure that Bulleen are aware that she is there since coming on the park. Got a big frame and very strong for a 17-year-old, Alexis Pantazopoulos.
Without doubt, Joey, how you started the second half broadcast, I think she's probably the best 17-year-old player in the competition. I just see great things for her, and I hope to think one of the A-League clubs, maybe not necessarily in Melbourne, but one of them looks to pick her up, because watching her play, her height, size, her ability to strike with both feet and her pace is very rare.
Former Irimple Knights product from the Victoria and New South Wales border. It's a 6-hour drive between the club rooms of Irimple and South Melbourne.
Family's got a grape farm, and they used to supply everyone with grapes, both at Heidelberg and South Melbourne.
There's Tom Rushton just laying down the law in the middle.
I think Emily Roach thought that ball was out and she grabbed it, but the AR had signalled the ball was out.
Emily Bunnell sends it long. Markowski flew for it. Spills to Nia Sala, but Roach pinches the ball for South Melbourne. Markowski has certainly been looking to get herself involved as much as possible, but unfortunately for the Lionesses, that has invariably meant drop in to help the build-up. See her there. Something of a rare touch in and around the penalty area for Markowski in this one so far, which is really, it's nice to have her involved in the build-up, but that's where you want her touching the ball.
I think, yeah, if they could have, Katie Friend could have reversed that. Olivia Bomford playing it to Maya Markowski instead of Maya Markowski playing it to Olivia Bomford, she would have taken that every day of the week.
Here we go, here's the striker in an offside position.
Joey, you said before, maybe what could the changes be, or he might do something different. I'd imagine Nia Sala might be replaced by Rosie Roger at some stage. I think it's one of Katie Friend's sort of go-to moves during games. Normally it's the other way around with Rosie starting and Nia coming on, but maybe they'll reverse it today.
Well, the Bulleen subs have been out warming up. They're returning to their dugout now. As that ball just cleared away with the run of Cornelino by Emily Collier. Bonnell. There's your Westland. Yamano, back to Westland. Roach. Pantazopoulos, well worked by South Melbourne. Just running out of room was Pantazopoulos.
The difference in South Melbourne in the last 10 days is quite remarkable, Joey. Sitting here and watching them, you know, they looked a bit flat, lacking in confidence. The 1-0 win versus Burundara on the Wednesday night, you know, the 3-0 win versus Alamein last Saturday has really changed how they play. It's turbocharged them, and they're looking very impressive at the 57th minute of this match so far.
And as it stands, they are on pace to secure another win in what has been, well, historically, not completely one-sided, but certainly a rivalry in favour of South Melbourne. It's the 34th meeting between Bulleen and Hellas. Bulleen have won 9 times, 7 draws. South 17 wins. So South looking for their 18th win over the Lionesses. Maybe Bulleen can take solace from the fact that they lead the ledger 2-1 when it comes to grand finals and cup finals. 2 splitting NPLW grand finals in their history. Bulleen winning the 2014 Knockout Cup. And by Cordelino to get it to Markowski, who feeds it to Cordelino, much to the pleasure of the grandstand supporting Bulleen, but it just gets away from the youngster.
I think that passionate supporter has a Alana Cordelino shirt on. Every time Alana gets near the ball, it's nice and passionate, which is fantastic to see.
Gio Kanzi to take this goal kick. The South Melbourne goalkeeper currently in pursuit of what would be their 3rd straight clean sheet. 1-0 win over Burundara, 3-0 win over Alamein. On pace as we approach the hour mark for a 1-0 win over FC Bulleen Lions. Appeals for offside against Pantazopoulos, and the flag will indeed be raised. And well,
I know I'm harping a little bit, but the difference between the South Melbourne we're watching here tonight compared to the South Melbourne a few Friday nights ago versus Spring Heels, it's chalk and cheese, and it's credit to Justin Micallef and his coaching staff, because they're playing a really nice brand of football here, and their dedication, determination to the cause has been very impressive.
Bella Wallhead clears it away. Bulleen reload once more, leave a ball over the top for Bomford, but Gio Candy aware of the danger, and they are off their line to make the claim. Collier, she advances forward before getting it to TJ Vlanic, who was in an offside position, so we'll just let the ball run. And well, looking at the two dugouts, the remaining South Melbourne substitutes are up, getting about and getting warm. The temperatures are beginning to dip here at the Venero Club. However, after they were all sent out to warm up by Coach Caitlin Friends, the blankets came out again and the puffer jackets came out the Bulleen dugout, so doesn't look like there's any changes imminent from the Lionesses. As we tick over the hour mark, this is the point where maybe there could have been some planned changes coming. Kat Renahan. It's being well marshalled by Vlanic, so goes back to Bunnell. Kane to Eliadis. Cordolino into the penalty area, but a sliding challenge comes in. Bunnell. Across to Yates. She's got Salah ahead of her. Instead, she goes back to Bunnell. Bomford was fouled, but got the pass away. Renahan charged down. Cleared away by Vlanic. Chicks to Kane. Eliadis, first time ball for Markowski. Headed away by Byrne. Kane's pass behind Eliadis, but Bulleen get it back.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Cordolino's ball. Not clear, Vlanic. Bulleen with the press. Urged on by Dallost. Eliadis nods at central. Wanted Bomford. Westland got the touch clear. But Bulleen once again coming up with it. Continuing to apply the pressure. Salah. Ball across the face of the penalty area. Can't find anybody wearing maroon. But now Kane. Wanted Markowski. Deflected. Yates. Renahan. Round Vlanic. Wanted Cordolino. Couldn't find her.
I think paid a free kick there, Joey, at the top of the box.
So real opportunity for FC Bulleen Lions here. It's in a interesting position. You could have a shot here, but probably would be looking for a teammate. Eliadis standing over it. Markowski with her height, the obvious target. Eliadis. Oh, it's a difficult bouncing effort. Wrong foot, Gio Candy. She got enough of a touch on it to prevent the thing that was Miocic steaming in. It's going to be a corner.
It was a wonderful free kick there by Tiff Eliadis, and Bulleen lucky not to be on level terms.
They are hammering on the door, sustained pressure. They've now got a corner. Sent it, Eliadis! Couldn't make proper contact with it. And it's a comfortable claim for Gio Kane.
I find it a little bit unusual that Justin Micallef and his team are sitting so deep. It's really inviting trouble. It just feels when they're sitting that deep. Bulleen, it's a matter of time until they do score.
Bouncing ball, headed away by Collier before it could get to Cordelino. Goodsmith battling with Eliadis, and Eliadis gave away the free kick. South Melbourne ball on their attacking right flank. Yamano takes it to the corner flag. She's well marshalled by Yates. So Taranto can have another go. Looks like Nikki Furukawa is preparing to come on for South Melbourne. Mijicic clears it away to Markowski. Pantazopoulos couldn't dig it out. Has a throw in nonetheless for her side. Pantazopoulos trying to hold it up. Just bouncing, ricocheting it away from her, and Bulleen will have it. Have to go the length of the field. Collier gets Burns instructions to turn and play it down the left, but Renahan knocked it clear of TJ Vlanic. Not the most convincing of clearances. Vlanic trying to clean up. Was closed down. Here's Salah. Going to lay it off for Kane. She has it poked clear. Taranto can look up. There's a couple of players ahead of her, but Bonnell getting across. An important intervention before it can find Pantazopoulos. Markowski now with Ania Salah, but she can't keep it in.
Joey, I really think Caitlin Friend needs to do something a little bit different, whether it's to leave Markowski more high as a pure 9 and not let her come back as much, because I know we're only at the 70-minute mark, but I think at the moment Wallhead and Burns as centre-backs have not really been pushed too hard, except for that sustained pressure that they did have there.
Yates trying to get it past Taranto, keeps her foot in. Looking for Cordelino, gets away from her. TJ Vlanic for South Melbourne. Looking up for Pantazopoulos. Only finds Bonnell. Bomford sliding challenge. Could only find Roach. Got away from Westland. Sarah Kane. Maya Markowski. Looking for a teammate, finds Eliadis. Nia Salah. Gets to the byline, trying to cut it back, wins a corner.
South Melbourne so far have absorbed this pressure fantastically well, but you do feel it's a matter of time, and FC Bulleen will level scores fairly soon.
Salah offers the short option, gets ignored. Onto the top of the 6-yard box in the Markowski direction. She gets bundled over. Ball remains in. Markowski again! And Candy diving across to claim it. Wasn't struck with much power, the header, but it was looping and difficult to judge. But the keeper did very well. Blanic sends that one behind Pantazopoulos. She'll come back to claim. Charged down by Eliadis. Where did that last come off? Renahan, according to the officials. Yeah, looks like Renahan perhaps coming up slightly cropper. And meanwhile, Nikki Furukawa has made her way out to the halfway line, so the Canadians' introduction is imminent.
Yes! Yes! Good ball!
And confirmation the change is coming. Furukawa will be coming on for the goal scorer. Francesca Iamano, 6.5 minutes gone. It's her strike that was the difference between the two sides. Chich able to keep it in. Cordolino finds Markowski. Touch to take it around Byrne. And it looks as though Caitlin Friend is now barking some instructions at Rosie Rogers. So perhaps a change coming in for the Lionesses. With just over 15 minutes of this contest remaining.
Better control, come on!
Confirmation of the change for the Lionesses. Rosie Roger entering the fray in place of Alana Cordolino.
With that change too, Joey, Nia Sala's come to the broadcast side of the pitch for Bulleen.
Had to get rid of it in a hurry. Vlanic was lurking. Players caught in half minds as that ball fell. Westland's on it for South. On a Byrne.
Come on, number 14!
Misha Westland laying it off. Grace Taranto. Pantazopoulos for South Melbourne. Trying to cut it back for Furukawa. It cleared away from her by Bunnell. Rosie Roger getting an early touch, coming back.
Just wonderful intensity by both sides, and I just think Bulleen, if they can play forward and forward quickly with the pace of the players they have up front, can open and unlock South Melbourne's defence.
Chich puts it back. Yates swarmed by Pantazopoulos and Furukawa. Kane getting back to provide the support. And Mijicic, I don't think she intended to do that. Sends the ball into touch. 75 minutes gone per the scoreboard here at David Burrows Stadium at the Veneto Club. South Melbourne, thanks to Gischiamano's 7th minute strike. 1-0 leaders.
Yes!
Rosie Roger trying to carry the ball forward. Blocked out by Grace Taranto, who now gets a defensive header. Pantazopoulos. Oh, that's could have been anything coming off the boot, but Delost will watch it go across the face of goal.
That's the wonderful thing about youth. Players think they can take shots and score shots from anywhere, and Alexis can do that. And it's good to see she's got the confidence to do that.
Yes!
So this game, less than 15 minutes of regulation remaining, plus whatever added time is deemed necessary. The only remaining game to be completed on this Saturday. One game to come tomorrow. Sorry. One game to come tomorrow, yep. Melbourne victory against the Essendon Royals at the home of the Matildas. We do, of course, still have that catch-up game with Boroondara to come as well. Other games taking place today. Heidelberg beating Avondale 1-0. Melbourne City in the end running out 5-1 victors over the Bentley Greens. Preston Lions and Keilor Park. That one finished up 2-2. Natalie Olsen with goals in the 84th and 96th minute to rescue a point for Preston. And Box Hill United going top of the league after beating Alamein 2-0. And that's going to be a free kick for Bulleen. So Renahan has gone down again. We saw a bit sore a few minutes ago. Trainer is immediately out, and potentially Coach Caitlin Friend's going to be forced to turn to her bench once more. Maddie Rakic looks like she's sprung to her feet. The players on the bench: Liam Aldiri, G. Garron, Ash Jordan. You're surprised we haven't seen Ash Jordan or J.G. Garron yet chasing the game, but I guess with substitutions like that, the question also is, who are you going to take off? So Kat Renahan, injury, and in fact it's going to be Liam Aldiri, not Maddie Rakic, coming on. So Aldiri, who came on at half-time against Heidelberg last week and then was subbed off again in the 69th minute, so she will be entrusted to see this game out. Started the first month of the campaign for FC Bulleen Lions. So we're just over 10 minutes remaining. Can the Lionesses find a way back into this one to avoid their first defeat since round 2? They've rattled off 6 straight wins since then. Collier into the box. Penalty is the decision. The purposeful run from Emily Collier, perhaps catching the newly introduced substitute Leah Muldeary cold. And South Melbourne will have a chance, you would think, with 10 minutes of regulation remaining, to probably kill this game off.
Last week, Joey versus Alamein, we saw quite often Collier making those runs forward into the box, and today that was her first one, and she's drawn the penalty. You do feel for Leah Muldeary coming on because it's really hard, but sadly penalty's been given, and this could bury the game.
So it's Misha Westland converting in the bottom corner. The midfield stalwart for Hellas, her fourth goal of the campaign. And this one, you would have to think, in the 81st minute at the Veneto Club, should seal the 3 points for South Melbourne.
It'd be interesting to see, Joey, if Coach Justin Nikoloff drops to 2 6s or leaves his team attacking how it's been attacking. Well, actually, it's been a change already.
Yeah, there we go, and you can see immediately Bulleen trying to respond. Markowski swarmed. Kept in by Yates. She'll go back to Mijicic. Funnel. Sent clear by Byrne. Mijicic splays it out to the left where it's met by Eliadis. Tiff Eliadis back onto the right boot, now onto the left. Looking for the byline. Tiff Eliadis kept her feet. Markowski had the shot charged down. Bulleen will have to settle for a corner.
Fantastic play by Tiff Eliadis, and just desperation, determination, will herself to get that corner.
Ball is swung in towards the near post. Couldn't beat the first defender. Pantazopoulos turns it upfield. Was made to pay for it. Nia Sulla. Out onto the right flank, Nia Sulla looking for a teammate. Charged down by Vlanic. Some appeals for a handball. Think it came off the chest. It will be a corner.
No, I think it was a good decision by the referee.
Sulla sends this one in. Will swing outwards off that right boot. Markowski right to Candy.
Good effort, good effort.
And it's the second header we've seen from Maya Markowski, just lacking a little penetration and power to get past Geo Candy.
Yes. Yes.
South Melbourne keeper has had their positioning bang on in this second stanza. That ball knocked forward by Kane. The attempts to play the advantage was there by Tom Rushton, but none forthcoming.
Good refereeing. Waited to see if the play unfolded as a positive. When it didn't, brought it back. Well done to the referee.
Miles ball picked out by Eva Goodsmith. Sliding challenge up for grabs in the middle of the park. It's Westland. Scorer of South seconds that claims it. Goodsmith pokes it out to the right. Pantazopoulos able to keep it in. Eva Goodsmith once more, but Mijicic shepherds the ball out, and it will be a goal kick. One that Dallas looks like she wants to take quickly. Only for the options to not really be there. Markowski knocks it on. going to spill out. Furukawa looking for a third. Off the post, back into play. Nikki Furukawa looking for a second goal in as many weeks. She came off the bench and scored against Alamein last round. And that would have absolutely sealed this result.
Teamwork!
Now, an outstanding burst of speed by Nikki. Unlucky not to score there.
That ball played in behind. Wallhead closed down by Roger. Couldn't keep it in, could Rosie Roger. Change coming for South Melbourne. Chiara Chronopoulos will come on, adding a bit more defensive fortitude. There will be Emily Roach making way, so a defensive substitution from Justin Micallef. And Emily Roach is just given some yellow encouragement to get off the pitch a little bit quicker there, cautioned for dallying. Less than 5 minutes of regulation remaining as per the scoreboard here at David Barrow Stadium. Bulleen now in a 2-goal deficit. Franny Yamano's first half goal combining with Misha Westland's second half penalty. Roger. Wanted Markowski cleared away by Bella Wallhead. Yates up to take it quickly. Bomford back to Yates. Closed down in a hurry by Pantazopoulos, but the teenager gives away the free kick.
You can see Coach Katie Friend on her feet, really passionate, really wanting her troops to push forward here for this opportunity.
Sent Bunnell up. It's going to spill out. Bunnell! It's 2-1. And the trainer is immediately called for as well. It was Mijicic that was made to pay for keeping that play alive. But the two centre-backs getting forward for the free kick. And well, game on.
I think it's great reward for Emily Bunnell. I think she's had a fantastic game today, Joey. And I tell you what, it's game on for this last 3 minutes plus time on.
Don't rush! Number 9, don't rush!
Eliadis around the corner, looking for Markowski. Tries to keep it along the turf, looking for Nia Sala, closed down by South Melbourne. Vlanic over Furukawa. Took a touch off Bunnell, so the Canadian couldn't control it. Muldeary. Nia Sala. Back to Muldeary. Kane. Yates with a Roger. Closed down by Westland onto the right boot, Rosie Roger. No teammates presenting themselves. Goes to Yates instead. High ball in. Falls to Roger. Appeals for a handball. Waved away. Bunnell sends it back. Cleared away by South. Mijicic's ball finds its way to Kane. Bulleen pushing ever so hard. Eliadis to Roger. Salah outside of the boot effort. Couldn't find Markowski. Ball up for grabs. Taranto and Eliadis. Taranto clears it away. Bounces through to Kane. Couldn't find anybody but Westland wearing a South shirt. Furukawa battling with Bomford. Kane to Eliadis. Can Roger keep it in? Oh, she applied the pressure. Wallhead puts it out.
Fourth official's just about to let us know how many additional minutes we have.
You can cut the tension with a knife at David Barrow Stadium. Markowski battling with multiple defenders, wins her side a corner. All hands on deck for both sides. 90 minutes elapses on the scoreboard. 4 minutes of added time is the decree. Ball is swung to the top. The 6-yard box glanced on by Mijicic. And it goes wide. Candy goes long. Falls to Westlands. Yates flicks it on. Kane. Salah turns it around the corner for Markowski. Kane back to Markowski. Muldeary couldn't find a teammate. Vlanic knocks it in the Furukawa direction. A lot of work for her to do. Instead, Bulleen will claim it. Kane. Furukawa trying to hold the play up and find a teammate. Does well to turn. Sends it out to Pantazopoulos on the right, but she's not going to be able to wrangle it. Eliadis closed down by Taranto. South come up with it. Long range effort. Claims by DeLost. Sprints to the edge of the box. Boots it clear. Goodsmith working against Salah. Came off Markowski's hand, but judged to be inadvertent. Play on is the call. Markowski. One way and then the other. Outside of the boot pass. Bulleen, the long-range effort over the crossbar. Nia Salah had found herself out on the left. South Melbourne survive another attack.
I think South Melbourne's coach, Justin Micallef, he's just ball of nerves there. He can't sit still with the game and the balance.
Furukawa gets it to Vlanic. Sends it down the touchline. Free kick, Bulleen. Bunnell. Central to Mijicic. The switch of play is complete, right to left.
Good position,
And we're looking for Eliadis in behind. Couldn't get it to her. Time rapidly running out for FC Bulleen Lions. Can't get that one past Westland. Pantazopoulos can't keep it in. Boots it away, but another ball is immediately delivered. So it doesn't deliver much in the way of relief.
This is your time to shine. Let's go.
Long ball forward. Muldeary to Nia Salah. Out to Eliadis. Is this the last throw of the dice for FC Bulleen Lions? Salah looking for the byline across the face. And it's going to be a goal kick.
That's it, Joey.
And it's going to be full time at David Barrow Stadium at the Veneno Club. FC Bulleen Lions hurled themselves forward late, but thanks to goals from Francesca Yamano and Misha Westland, South Melbourne will come to the Veneno Club and leave with 3 points. It was Emily Bunnell that got Bulleen's goal late, but Hallas will take the chocolates in what has been potentially game of the season thus far in the Senol NPL Women's Victoria competition.
Without doubt, Joey, that is just a wonderful advert for the Senol NPLW competition. What a game between two wonderful sides. And to be blunt, I thought Bulleen would walk away the winners today with the 3 points. But Justin Micallef and his South Melbourne team have done extremely well. And, you use the phrase, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. For the last 20 minutes, I think the game was extraordinary. And what a game, and congratulations to South Melbourne.
So South Melbourne, 3 wins on the bounce for them now as they continue their surge up the table. Bulleen, they will have to look to, bounce back quickly because it doesn't get any easier. They're away to Box Hill United next Friday. South Melbourne, meanwhile, not easy for them either. They'll host Avondale in rounds 10 of the Senol NPL Women's Victoria competition. As a reminder, you can catch both of those games on the NPL Victoria YouTube page. Every game of the Senol NPL Men's Victoria campaign on that YouTube page as well. Select Doherty Cup fixtures, Nike FC Cup fixtures, and plenty of other bonuses along the way. Make sure you're subscribed. Be a friend, tell a friend, get them subscribed as well. For now, though, my name has been Joey Lynch. It's been an absolute pleasure to have your company. It's also been my absolute pleasure to have Sven Samold alongside me. Sven, thank you for your company.
No, thank you, Joey, and what a learning lesson it's been for me to work with such a doyen of Australian football. So thanks, Joey, for today.
Yeah, you must be referring to somebody else. I'm no one's doyen, but that's all the time we have now. Well, it's all the time we have from here at the Veneno Club. One last time, South Melbourne 2, FC Bulleen Lions 1. Thanks and success.